In the interim, we're going to go ahead with the program and welcome onto the stage Chris Graham. Chris Graham is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Blue Spark Energy. And Chris is going to be speaking to us today about well stimulation, maximizing your asset using Blue Spark Energy's high-pulsed power.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for spending some time with us. I'd like to kind of start out with asking just a couple of questions. Who here knows about Blue Spark and what we do? The guy that I told the story to last night and the lady that works for us. Maybe I'll change it a different way. Who here is happy with the status quo? How about who here loves innovation? Let's start with that one. I think there's a couple more hands that go up with that. So what Blue Spark is a clean technology that has exceptional results. We are fairly new to the market within Africa, although we have some case studies that I'll get into in a few moments that shows that we've actually been operating on the continent of Africa for about 7 years now. We are primarily a well stimulation company. We use a form of electric hydraulic pulsing. We take a small amount of energy from surface deployed on wireline or E-line. We create a hydraulic pulse downhole, and that cleans any wellbore impediment, scale, blockages, sand, salts, quartz, everything. Some of our results are on the screen right here. We have a case study that I'll show you where we did 4 wells and we increased the production rate by 970%. We replace and dispose and compete with some of the legacy processes. I would not call them technologies, but the legacy processes of milling, acids, brushing, broaching, etc. Some of the values and the value proposition that we actually provide could be time saved, could be re-stimulating a legacy well that has been shut in, could be costs, could be excessive production increase, if you actually believe in excessive. We have a unique solution that actually will provide value from the initiation of the well. We can remove skin damage, mud cake from drilling, and stimulate that well to get it faster on production. We have well stimulation during the life cycle of the well, so if it's legacy fields, if you have a decline in production, we can actually provide the results to remove those near wellbore impediments and bring that well back online. We also have solutions that will clear plug setting zones for P&A. So throughout the entire life cycle, you can actually use our technology to remove some of those impediments and blockages. So what are we? We have over 1,000 runs on our technology globally. We are vetted, we are proven. We have multiple different definitions of the tool. We have 6 different designs compared of what we are treating. We have removed 39 different types of scale around the world successfully, including iron sulfates, barium sulfates, calcium carbonates. We have removed salts, bridges, clays, quartzes, sands. We are very easy and flexible to work with. As a matter of fact, one of the primary reasons we are here in this show, in this event, is that we train local companies to run our technology, to be partners with Blue Spark in the local neighborhoods to provide that value. Our technology is very easily to deploy. Our design and all the technology is in the tool, not how it is run. That is why we've operated with over 70 different wireline companies around the world and over 50 different producers around the world. Getting into the actual tech. Inside of our tool, we have basically a spark plug downhole. And what that spark plug does is it transfers a small amount of energy, 1,000 joules of energy. As a matter of fact, the entire process of running our tool, it takes more energy to make a pot of coffee than it does to clean a wellbore using our technology. We take that 1,000 joules of energy, we release it in 5 microseconds and create a high-powered event. That high-powered event creates a wave, a thermal expansion, as you will, within the fluid in our tool, and it creates a wave that travels at 1,500 meters per second at 10,000 psi. It is an instantaneous wave. It is not a sustainable wave. There is no reason why there would be any damage downhole. As a matter of fact, the completion and the ductile material of your completion is a perfect reflector of that wave. We have a push-pull, so we actually exceed the compressive strength of most scales by actually having that push-pull effect. We create that thermal expansion inside of our tool, but that also creates a contraction. So, for example, calcium carbonate has a compressive strength of about 4,200 psi, but it only has about a 450 tensile strength. We have a 10,000 wave that exceeds that on the compressive. We also have a 3,000 psi tensile strength that pulls it apart. We delaminate, we pull apart, we disaggregate any kind of scale. That is why we have treated successfully 39 different types of scale. This is a little bit of an animation of our tool. We actually do station stops. We do not move while we pulse. We actually do station stops. We are very optimized and very specific. Comparing to legacy processes, we will actually position right beside those flow paths. So right beside the perforations, right beside the permeable zones, where that fluid needs to be flowing, that is where we will clean. We will clean not only the scale and debris inside the tubing and completion, we will clean it out of the perforations. Again, with that push-pull effect, we will pull any kind of blockages out of those perforations, and we will create those new flow paths. Some of the results that we have are exceptional because we actually clean those perforations. Mechanical means being milling and broaching. Anything that it gets in touch with or physically comes in contact with, it will remove, but it cannot get into the perforations. If it's chemical, it is path of least resistance. You will not clean all of your perforations. You will clean some, but you will not clean it all. We will actually go in and we will actually clean every one of your perforations. We are not a long or lengthy wellbore solution. For example, we had a partner in the United States that had a 5,000 meter horizontal section. We are not a treatment solution for 5,000 meters. But when we started asking the questions on how that well was completed, they had 200 perforations. Now we're only treating 200 feet because we need to treat those perforations where the fluid is flowing. That was a perfect solution for us, and we actually went in and had an exceptional result with that. This is actually a little bit of a better animation where it actually shows us lowering into location. We pulse several times depending on what we are treating. We know with our success rate of 39 different types of scale that we actually know that if calcium carbonate finds mud cake, we can pulse 30 pulses per foot and remove that effectively. If it's barium sulfate, we increase it to 60 pulses per foot to remove that. Iron sulfates, we actually can increase it to 75 to 100 pulses, depending on the depth and the amount of scale that we are removing. Again, we actually initiate that flow. We have some amazing results. Here's 3 examples of what we have actually done for clients. On the upper left-hand side, you can see a high-fine wire mesh screen. It is 100% blocked on the left-hand side, and it's 98% open on the right-hand side. You can see all the perforations are clean, but more importantly, the wire mesh is actually still intact. Again, a perfect reflector for that ductile material with the hydraulic wave. The one on the right is an iron carbonate scale that we were able to take a 65% blocked completion and remove all of that scale, getting it back to nominal ID. And then in the bottom one, this is actually a little bit better picture that in the next slide. Bottom one was a P&A. It was off the coast of Malaysia where they actually were abandoning a well, could not set their plug. We actually went in there, cleaned up that entire zone, removing all the scale, and increased the efficacy of seating that plug by 8 to 10 times. This is an actual video of our technology at work. This is our tool inside a perforated liner that is cemented closed to simulate calcium carbonate. You can see that we accelerate the water inside the completion. That acceleration of what we do, creating that hydraulic pulse, liberates and opens every perforation. So you go from completely blocked in this simulation using just water to you can see every perforation is now cleaned, your flow paths, your production, your injection, all of it now has transparency and the fluid can actually flow into your well. Now we get to tell the good stories. This is actually a program that we did for Petrobras in Oman. There's 4 separate wells that we treated. These were very small zones that we actually treated. They were about 20 meters each. Oh, sorry, this is the right one. The interesting thing about that is there's 4 different wells here, and you can see the bar in the orange on the well number 3, that there actually wasn't much of a significant change. However, over the 4 wells, there was 970% increase over the 4 wells. That 3rd well that was the option there had reservoir depletion. We actually still increased it by 60%, but it goes to show that it really is wellbore dependent on what we are trying to achieve. But over the 4 wells, it was 970% increase in production. This was an operation in Nigeria. I believe it was in 2016. We went in and created new flow paths, stimulated an injection well, created more surface area, and did a combination chemical treatment afterwards. We increased the injection rate by 1,260% on our initial service. They actually went in and did an acid stim afterwards, and that actually brought that injection up 2,800%. Malaysia, cleaning sand screens. This was a 20-meter zone. This was an exceptional project. We actually worked really hard on this one to make sure that we actually understood the horizontal section and where the actual production zones were. And you can see the results here were exceptional, where we actually brought it from 300 to 900 barrels per day. This is all just by removing all the near wellbore impediments, those fines that migrate, that block the screens, that block the flow paths. And this is one of our most recent successes, actually up in Equinor with Norway. We actually have proof here with scale removal with a multi-caliper log. Happy to go through this with anyone. We actually increased their water production by 270%. There will be an SPE paper launched about this in about 4 to 6 weeks. Some of our success. Again, we've had over 1,000 runs on our technology. About 57 to 58% are on stimulation operations, on production, on injection. Our average increase is 274% in oil production. Our average increase for gas production is over 136%. When we get into efficacy on how many different types of scale we removed around the world, it's 86 to 90%, depending on the region that we're in. And then we have also cleaned in excess of 120 different units, downhole, completion, be it safety valves, gas lift valves, side pocket mandrels. Because we are a hydraulic pulse, we can actually get into the profiles, we can actually get into the side pocket mandrels and remove all of that scale. We do not have to rely on the limitations of physical limitations with brushes or broaching or milling. We have tremendous partner network around the world. We have a lot of partners in Africa currently. As a matter of fact, we do have a global agreement with Welltec if you are contracted with Welltec. But we also are looking for partners in some of the other operating areas to make sure that they are certified Blue Spark engineers, so we can actually have them deployed in the fields and have them in the regions, in the neighborhoods. It is actually beneficial to us to have local representation. We will never be an Expro or a Halliburton or anything like that. We want to actually support the neighborhoods and the local contracted entities. That is our goal. That is what we want to support, and that is what we believe. We actually have Fatima at the booth. I encourage you to come by and speak with Fatima. She is our business development manager for Africa. She is actually just in the back there putting her hand up. She is new with the organization, but she has a tremendous wealth of experience within the continent. We're very pleased to have her join on our team. We are probably one of the best kept secrets from a service company. We have been around for 12 years. We have over 1,000 runs on our technology. We have papers, we have accreditation. We're just new to some areas. We're getting there. I welcome any questions that anybody has.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Can we get a microphone up? Can we get some hands going? Great.
You can't let me off the hook with no questions.
We do have a question here up front. Let's see if we can get a microphone over there.
Thank you for the presentation. My name is Wallace Drew with Champion X. I missed the first part of your presentation, but do you use just water, or have you ever used or experimented with chemicals when you do the hydraulic mini fracturing?
That's a great question, Wallace. Thank you. We actually have operated in many different environments. The examples we gave were mostly water-based, but brines, oils, condensates, there's a lot that we actually have. Actually, there was one thing that I actually wanted to bring up with you is maybe we'd like to do some testing even with some polymers and things like that, that we could actually define what the efficacy would be. But we would be interested in doing some programs to find out what we could do with different chemicals and find that out. So we are open to that, absolutely.
Cool. Any other questions? Great. Chris, thank you so much, man. Really, really do appreciate it. Can we give Chris a round of applause for that presentation?